Hi Taurus, welcome to Higher Source Tarot for your June 2020 tarot check. This is a tarot reading for all Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. And I want to welcome anybody back who's been watching my channel. I really appreciate that. And I do want to thank you so much for watching, commenting, liking, subscribing. I really appreciate that. It's been a lot of fun to do these readings, and it's just fun. It's a great... it uplifts my vibration. I don't ever feel tired after doing a reading. I feel inspired. I feel connected to Source. So I love that, and I love you, and I appreciate you. If you're new here, I'd love to have you as a subscriber. Tap the bell if you want to be notified when new videos are posted, but I basically do a reading every week. So I'll do this monthly reading, and then I do weekly readings, and I also have a love reading that I introduced last month that comes out on the first Friday of the month, so be prepared for that. And yeah, let's see what's going on here for Taurus for June. All Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Taurus, June 2020. Seems like we've been in a time warp, doesn't it? Now, if this doesn't resonate, don't try to like shoehorn yourself into the reading. Check a different part of your chart, because you never know. Sometimes your Rising or your Venus or your Moon can really be indicative of your situation. But your current situation, you got the Nine of Pentacles, single lady card, with the Five of Swords influencing it. Your destiny here is the Lovers. In your more distant past, you have the Three of Pentacles here. More recent past, you got the Four of Wands. And coming towards you, you have the Eight of Swords. You are represented by the Three of Wands. The Knight of Cups is the people around you. The Seven of Swords is your, Seven of Wands is your hopes and fears. And the Page of Swords, you've got that in the outcome, but it's tempered by, this is interesting. I'll pull the bottom two as clarifiers, by the Queen of Cups and the World. So I feel like for some of you, you may be in a marriage or in a soulmate relationship and there's some kind of conflict going on. It doesn't feel like it's ending, but it feels like there's some kind of there's definitely a problem moving forward. I can tell you that. So you've got here Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. You've got Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. And you've got Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Okay? You do have Gemini in the Lovers too. So you're represented here by the Nine of Pentacles here. So she's a single lady card, but she's kind of like the single, almost wealthy lady. Like, you know, it feels like somebody who was single and is abundant. They don't need money. They can buy their own stuff. I don't know why I'm thinking of Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith. I remember an interview with him where he was talking about when he was first dating her, how he had to really get creative to impress her because she could buy all of her own stuff. So he was like, you know, the usual stuff I did wasn't really that exciting because I couldn't just go out and buy material stuff. I had to actually think. And it just kind of makes me think of that, like that kind of person, like you're very established, or somebody here is very established. But there's been some kind of change around them, some kind of conflict. I feel this coming for somebody. It's like a family conflict. There's some kind of fight around money. Feels like for somebody it could be even an inheritance. There's an argument and a fight around money is what I'm getting. And it's possible if you're married or in a very serious relationship, the two of you are not getting along about money right now. That's just what I'm getting. And you're in a stalemate about it. And it's causing a lot of conflict. I feel like the other person's very dreamy. And there's like a part of you, and this I guess makes sense because you're Taurus, both feet on the ground, practical, you know, prudent with money. And they're very dreamy. That might be a Pisces involved. Could be a water sign though, for sure. It's like they're not being realistic about financial situation right now, and it's causing a lot of conflict. You know, the way around that though is going to be very practical. Okay. So we'll talk about that too. So if this is your reading, stay tuned because it's not going in a bad direction. But I know sometimes when we start to see swords and stuff, it gets scary for people. And I actually just watched an interview with Radley Valentine, and he he made the angel oracle cards. So when you see like readers that use those angel cards, they're not bad cards, but they were done with Doreen Virtue, and then she renounced all of her psychic medium abilities and said the whole thing was shit. So they're hard to find because most metaphysical stores don't carry them. They don't get new ones. You can get them on Amazon, but anyway, Radley Valentine made those cards with her, some of the decks, the angel cards, and he's very sweet. He still believes in his gifts. But he talks about he made those because he thought these cards were scary. He felt like you didn't need a card that looked like the Ten of Swords to tell somebody that things were going to be over. And so he's like, in the Three of Swords with the blood dripping from a heart, is that really necessary? He's just a very sweet man. So these cards do pack a punch, but I think you can handle it. So you've got in your destiny here, you've got the Lovers, and in this case, it definitely represents a choice. I don't feel like, though, it's a choice between two lovers as much as there's some kind of a decision regarding money. I just keep getting that. There's a conflict about money, and there's a decision about money. Now, I do feel like the two of you have been a match. You've got the Garden of Eden behind this couple here, and they're walking out of this beautiful time. And that may be it, too, that there was more prosperity behind you, where things were easier, they were more carefree. COVID-19 came, it stopped the entire economy. Some of you have lost money in your, you may look on your 401k or other things. Look, I've been through this several times, okay? I lived through the 90s when the economy was strong and made lots of money, and then saw, the 2000s, we had 10 years ago a recession and money went bye-bye, and then it came back, and now it's, like, that's life. So for some of you, you're coming out of a prosperous time and it's a little scary, but your overall destiny with this is this match. So I'm just going to tell you that your destiny is with this person. I think you've had many lives together. I think you're connected on a spiritual plane, and you're part of a group. I mean, our souls come in groups. If you're not aware of that, they make a contract and they come back again and again. That non-physical energy, you have kind of like your key players. And so if you look at people in your life that you're closest to and you feel like you've known them for hundreds of years, of course you've known them. Or when you sit with somebody and you really look into their eyes and you think, I feel like I've known them before. Of course you did. And oftentimes, the couple times I've had that where I've met someone new and really felt like that, they've been with me for decades because we have a contract. So anyway, you have that with whoever this is. You've got a contract with this person. You've got the Three of Pentacles in the distant past, and then you have the Four of Wands in the more recent past. I do feel like there's been a marriage here. There's been a union here. There's something deep here. This is not with the Three of Pentacles and the Four of Wands, this is not just some, casual dating in and out kind of thing. It's, if you're not legally married, then you're married by spirit. You're living together. I mean, you've professed on some level that you're going to be together. I definitely feel like there's a unity here. There's a this is beyond just collaboration. This is there's a real foundation here. I do think, though, when you came together, you were very happy in the moment. You felt like there was a firm foundation, and I still think there is. And it's going to be something, marriages are negotiation. They don't have to be hard. I mean, relationships don't have to be hard, but you have to have two people willing to have a conversation and be willing to change, right? We have to be willing to change in some cases. So in more recent past, you've got this Four of Wands. Again, it's suggestive of a marriage, but this is also, too, about your physical manifestations happening in the 3D world. So some of you may have recently moved before COVID-19 or around that time, or had even bought something that now you're questioning, can we still afford this? Because we had the sudden drastic drop in income, or even like you joined a club or something and wondering, can we continue to do this? There's stress associated with it. So you get into this Eight of Swords, and this is energy coming towards you here. It's not the outcome, but it's definitely a restricted energy. Somebody's unwilling to see things in a different way. They're very, very, very stubborn here and feeling kind of just stuck. but know that the limitations are self-imposed. And if we second guess ourselves, we make ourselves feel like hostages. So there's a buildup of way too much thinking here. There's a way out of this. You just need some creativity. So you may need to find somebody, whether it's a trusted friend or somebody who works in finance, that's a friend, that can look at some things and tell you what your options might be. So especially if you feel stuck because of finances, get another opinion and see. For somebody, I feel like they got cheated out of some money too, where maybe they had a company that isn't giving them a refund that they deserve, and they're feeling very like trapped in it, like they don't have any recourse. So if it's something you paid with on a credit card, call your credit card company and file a dispute. Lots of people have done that successfully. And if it's a service or something you were supposed to get and they didn't deliver it, that's absolutely disputable. It'd be like during this quarantine having your hairdresser continue to charge you without giving you a haircut. You can't do stuff like that. So if that's you, that's for you, okay? You are going to be moving forward here. I do feel like you have a creative energy about you with this Three of Wands. You're getting new ideas. It's just kind of, like I said, this other person feels very daydreamy. And I'm getting a kind of a storyline. I have a friend who's a Taurus. This just came to me. And she's kind of recently married and they have a small child and they're a beautiful couple. I mean, they don't have any serious problems, but she was saying that her husband's very dreamy about money and ideas, and he's got all these ideas that constantly come in, and it frustrates her because she's very practical and she's hardworking, and and after a while it's like, look, I don't really want to be off in 10 years. I want to be in today, and they sometimes have conflict. So I feel like for you, you have both feet on the ground, like I said, and you are making progress. And you may have to do some things independently. Okay, do some things independently and figure this out. This energy around this other person, like I said, they've got the Knight of Wands, and he looks off into the future because he's basically daydreaming. He's thinking, he's contemplating, he's not doing a whole lot. For those of you that have, for those of you that have been at a standstill with somebody, I still feel like this person is not really moving forward. They're more thinking about things. I think you're going to have to. Your concern with this is you're going to have to separate a little bit and use some strength in this. In this Seven of Wands, it's definitely a card about moving forward regardless. And he is also elevated. Okay, you see all that blue sky, and he's elevated above. He got into a higher level. Basically, you elevate yourself, and I think overall, whatever the situation is, you're definitely going to be able to bring the person around to see things your way. And I hate to even use that, but you're going to keep going. There's an uncertain outcome a little bit, but you're like getting yourself prepared. You're getting yourself prepared, and there's definitely going to be a change coming. We'll get to those in a minute. You may have a bit of, during the month of June, it feels like the very beginning of June, you may have a bit of a tete-a-tete with this thing still, where you're having some kind of an exchange of words, some kind of a disagreement here. But I don't feel like it's an ending of anything. It's more like a lot of bickering back and forth. But some of you are going to get online and do some research, and that's going to help you. It's going to help you to clarify this. So if for some reason this wasn't a romantic relationship, but it's some kind of a business relationship, I should have said that before, but it's just coming to me now, where you've got a disagreement here with somebody about money. That's all I can tell you. But I definitely think you're going to do some research, and it's going to come to a conclusion. And it comes in, and when it's concluded, you've got victory here. She's the dancer of the tarot. She's free. I do feel like the conflict gets resolved, and it is not damaging to the relationship. There's still love there. There's still a union there. But what I do feel like it brings in is kind of like this sense of trust. It builds like trust in the relationship. Like, look, I'm not here to hurt you in any way, but we're here to work together. So for whoever this is for, it actually really advances the relationship, and it brings it into a place where there's more trust. There's more, I almost feel like more autonomy in a way too. Like, I don't need to look over your shoulder because I know that you know what you're doing. So if it's a business relationship too, or it's something at work, it's definitely going to help the relationship long term. It's not going anywhere. Like I said, it's not an ending to anything. It's just like you've got this strife in here. So I'm bringing out these archetype cards, and they're from a spiritual teacher. If you're familiar with Carolyn Mace, she's written a lot of books. She is a theologist, but she's a Reformed Catholic. She's a mystic. So even though she's got all this education, she's not religious at all. She's really a spiritual teacher. And she teaches about archetypes. There's, I believe it's 6 main ones that we all need to identify in our relationships. And they're from Carl Jung. If you know him, he's a Austrian-born psychologist that's done significant amount of work on relationships, and it influences so much of our American psychology, but really certainly European psychology too. He's done a lot of work in 12-step programs. I mean, anyway, I won't get into this too much, but I do want to give this to you. You pulled out the archetype of angel, so I'm already feeling like in this reading, like you have information that's going to help somebody, but the light attribute on this is helping those in need with no expectation in return. And the shadow attributes can be acting innocent or angelic to mislead people, falsely claiming to be in touch with angelic guidance. Now, I don't get the last part for you as much as I get like kind of secretly looking around at something financial to kind of build a case to convince this person. I do get that for you, but I don't feel like it's misleading. I feel like the intentions are good. We're going to end with an Asking It Is Given card from Abraham Hicks. My attention to it invites it in. Every thought that you give your attention to expands and becomes a bigger part of your vibrational mix. Whether it is a thought of something you want or a thought of something you don't want, your attention to it invites the essence of it into your experience. So I think that can be with the law of attraction one of the frightening parts, or one of the parts that we will tend to fight off and say, why would I attract that? But what we don't realize is that it's a more subtle vibration that just attracts a like circumstance. So, everything will be resolved here. And I love you so much, Taurus, and I'll be back again in about a week.